Well, good evening, good evening, good evening, and welcome to another episode of Uncle Keith's Corner right here on Historically Black Sense, the premier platform for everything HBCU. HBCU excellence, HBCU culture, the divine nine, Black excellence, the African and African American diaspora. It's all here on Historically Black Sense. I am Keith L. Brown, Mr. I'm Possible, also known as Uncle Keith, and I am honored to bring you another exciting episode, an enlightening episode, an empowering episode of Uncle Keith's Corner. And you know what? You know how we got to start it off. I need to start off because it's that type of week where we are hustling. I need everybody, put your hands in the air right now. All my warriors, you're going to find out why I'm a warrior tonight. You're going to find out in a few minutes why I am a warrior. Shout out to Savannah State University, the Brothers of Omega South Phi Fraternity Incorporated. Shout out to Black Excellence. Yes. Come on. Everybody, put your hands up. Yeah. Good evening, everybody. So glad you're here. All the people in the front, the people in the rear. And that's all right. The show is condensed. Everybody in the place, Historically Black Sense. And that's all right. This show is not the norm. Uncle Keith's Corner, HBCU platform. And that's all right, y'all. My knowledge is wide. I love HBCUs. I got HBCU pride. When I say I am, you say somebody I am. I am, come on. When I say I am, you say somebody I am, somebody I am. Historically Black Sense, Historically Black Sense, Historically Black Sense. Come on, Historically Black Sense. Uncle Keith's Corner, Uncle Keith's Corner, Uncle Keith's Corner on Historically Black Sense. Good job, good job. Check it. Good job, good job. Check it. GOODJOB. Good job, good job. Yes, we had to start like that, y'all, because it is a wonderful Wednesday. On yesterday, you had a tremendous Tuesday. And then you know what the top of the week was, Monday. And what do we say about Monday? Monday equals my optimism now declares a yes. Boom. My optimism now declares a yes. And so on tomorrow, you're going to have a trailblazing Thursday. Then you're going to have a fabulously favored Friday, a soaring Saturday, and a serenity-filled Sunday where you will not lease your peace. Don't lease your peace. So greetings to my Facebook audience, my YouTube audience, my StreamYard audience. Just greetings to all of you. Historically Black Sense is in the building. Make sure you follow Historically Black Sense on all social media platforms right now. Listen, I love any platform that celebrates HBCUs. I love them all. I know a lot of those innovators, but I tell you, there is none like Historically Black Sense, the most engaging premier platform for everything HBCU. And y'all know I got to start off with some good news tonight. Listen, Keishant Sewell. You don't know that name? You will know that name. Keishant Sewell. You don't know that name? You will know that name. She has been named the first woman, and she is an African American, the first woman commissioner of the NYPD. Thank you, Mayor Empowered Eric Adams from the neighborhood, Jamaica, Queens, y'all, in the building. Keishant Sewell and our connection, we are dear friends that go back 40 years to the Black Spectrum Theater Company in St. Albans, New York, Black Spectrum Theater Company. So shout out to the Sewell family. Shout out to Keishant Sewell, who is the first female commissioner in the NYPD. I have to give her a GOODJOB. Good job, good job. Black women rock. And if you want something done right, you put a Black woman in charge, and it will be done right. As a matter of fact, speaking of Black women, I have one of the foremost innovators in the building with me on tonight. You're going to find out who it is on Uncle Keith's Corner. We'll be right back in just a few moments. Yes, we're back. Welcome to another episode of Uncle Keith's Corner. And listen, in the building tonight, I have a warrior. I want y'all to go in and get a picture of this. Because before tonight is over, you're going to be running to get your warrior t-shirts. You're going to want to wear your warrior t-shirt. The whole family is going to want to wear it on Christmas morning, because listen, the individual that I have in the studio tonight, she is a media maven. She is a nationally known television journalist, having appeared on TV1's Atlanta Homicide. You've seen her as a regular on Atlanta Homicide. She was the host of Joy in Our Town on TBN. Shout out to TBN. Also on TV1's Fatal Attraction. She has been featured on CNN. Listen, WSB TV Channel 2 right here in Atlanta, Georgia, and also featured in Essence magazine. She is a warrior indeed. She is a distinguished alumnus of the Savannah State University, also my alma mater, and a proud member of the Alpha Kappa Alpha Sorority Incorporated. Listen, we're going to have a great time tonight, but tonight is also a serious matter. Her name is JaQuitta WIlliams. The J stands for jubilant. The A is for admired. The Q is for quintessential. The U is for unique. The I is for innovative. The T is for transformational. The T is for trailblazer. And the A is for ascending, because she's going up in her personal and her professional life. I want all of my Uncle Keith's Corner listeners, welcome my sister, my dear friend, the beloved JaQuitta WIlliams. Oh, let me pump this thing up a little bit, because she's in the building. Y'all better understand what's about to happen. Oh, come on. Put your hands together, because I got a nationally known television journalist in here. Oh, come on. Yeah. Oh, y'all know the song. Get ready. What is she, y'all? Hey. She's a bad mama. Hey. Yeah. She's a what? She's a bad mama jammer. Yeah. What's up, JaQuitta WIlliams? Listen, GOODJOB. Good job. How you doing tonight?
You have not changed one bit. Not one bit. Since the first time I saw you and the Q's stepping on the yard several years ago, you have not changed one bit. And it's so funny trying to get used to calling you Keith, because I know you as preacher.
That's right.
But we're going to go with Keith, and thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Oh, yes. Listen, welcome to
I need to take you everywhere I go. Anytime I need an introduction, I think you need to be the one to do it.
Oh, I got you. You already know, sis. I got you, because guess what? I am a warrior.
You're a warrior.
Y'all see the warrior in the background, and you're going to learn something about that tonight. And like I said, when we're done tonight, guess what? You all are going to run to get your black and white tees, or your black and pink tees, and y'all can rock them on Christmas. You can rock them on Kwanzaa. You can bring in the new year with your warrior shirt, because
There
this
you go.
represents resilience. It represents greatness,
Mm-hmm.
just fortitude overall. So I'm just excited to have my fellow Savannah State alum in the building. Shout out to the Savannah State University, 1890. You can get anywhere from here. So JaQuitta, let's start with you, my love. Just open up, because I really want to open up with you telling a little bit of your story and about yourself. And then I want you to tell us about the warrior movement.
The warrior brand.
Yeah.
Well, what do you want to know about me? You want to know from Savannah State? You want to know from now? You want to know all the stuff in between?
Yeah, I want to listen. My viewers like to know it all. We want to know it all, because the foundation up until this point. Please just go ahead. You can condense it, but we definitely want to know about, because a lot of times they see you on television. We see you on television, right? They hear you on radio, see you on television, but I need them to know the essence of who you are, like I do.
Well, you know, like I said, I went to Savannah State. Glad that I did. And it's funny because I just recently went down to UGA because one of my dear friend's daughter just was welcomed into the land of Alpha Kappa Alpha. And I remember so many years ago, UGA was a school that I considered along with Clark Atlanta University, but there was just something about Savannah State that really spoke to me. And I think it was when I came on the yard, my mother was driving me around, and I think I passed, I want to say it was Lockett dorm, one of the dorms, and there were cues outside stepping, and I just knew from that moment, not just because of cues, but because just the energy that the college had, that this was where I needed to be. This was going to be home. And it's been a decision I was really, really glad that I made. Of course, I wanted to be a television journalist, and did so, hopscotched across the country from Augusta to the Midwest. And I always knew that my coup de grace of places that I've ever wanted to work was here in Atlanta at WSB. And did that more times, was on air for quite some time. And was just grateful for being able to be a storyteller, being a face for people who probably didn't have an opportunity to see somebody who looked like me. And, you know, realizing that, yes, I'm proud to be Black. Yes, I'm proud to be a journalist. And yes, I was really, really proud to reach the pinnacle of my career, and doubling back, knowing that Savannah State was the college that gave me the framework, the undergirding, and here I am.
Wow, that's powerful. I love something that you just said that stuck out. And as graduates of Savannah State, this is something we take dear with us and hold dear to our hearts. I love the fact that you said, I'm a proud Savannah State alum, you know, proud television journalist, but I'm a proud Black woman. And a lot of times there are African Americans, as you know, us being in the industry, African Americans that say, well, you know, I'm just a man who happens to be Black. No, I'm a Black man. Okay. And I love the fact that you said that I'm a Black woman, and that there are so many Black girls, and there are so many Black women, young women, who are watching you tonight, you know, who can just gauge that they are talking to someone who is genuine and transparent. And that's what I love about you. You say I've been the same, but you've always been the same. You've always been hyped, honorable. Now, one thing I want to tell you, you said you saw the cues stepping. Baby, you know we don't step, we hop. You must
have you were hopping. Excuse me. Sorry.
You must have been talking about the alphas, the kappas, or the sigmas, because you know the bros. Don't make me put Atomic Dog on up in here. Okay? You talking about
hopping.
Yeah, you talking about a serious matter. Yeah, it's a serious matter when the bros and the AKAs get together. 20 pearls, baby. You know how we do it. So yes. Talk to us about the warrior movement, because let me tell you, I know a lot of resilient Black women, directly and indirectly, but with your journey and the warrior brand and the warrior movement, honestly, sis, I don't know many who are more resilient than you. Can you talk about the warrior brand and the warrior movement and how that evolved?
Sure. I, you know, a lot of people who, if you're in Atlanta, you know that I was diagnosed with breast cancer nearly 14 years ago. Well, no, 14 years ago. And at the time, I was working at WSB as an anchor reporter. I was in my 30s, young, no family history, and then all of a sudden felt this lump in my breast, and went to the doctor and found out that it was infiltrating ductal carcinoma, which meant cancer in my breast. So I began what we call a new journey of my life. And even though hearing the words "you have cancer" is really, really difficult, and most people believe when they hear it, they automatically think they're going to die. And I was much like everybody else. I thought that. But I also realized now, 14 years later, that it was not my time and there was a lot more that I needed to do. The Warrior brand came out of the fact that I realized all of us, whether you are fighting breast cancer, whether you are fighting, whatever kind of health ailment that you may have, or if you're just fighting any kind of battle that life is going to throw you. And let's be very clear, all of us are either in a battle, coming out of a battle, or heading into one. And for me, some of the times when I was finding it that it was the most difficult during my cancer journey, or even sometime when life is really, really difficult. And I think all of us can attest to this, having dealt with COVID and losing so many people who were near and dear to us. Sometimes when I felt down on myself or felt like, Lord, I just don't think I can take this anymore, having a shirt that I could look down at, and even if I didn't feel it in the moment, I had something to remind me of who I am. And who I am is a warrior. We go to battle. We fight battles. And we win. Even a loss is a win, because a loss means that you're learning something. And I think in life, for me, the best times that I have learned about my strength, my faith, is when I have encountered a loss or a failure. I don't think a lot of people learn anything when you're winning. So Warrior is just that. It is something that reminds all of us that when we feel like we are down or when we can't do it, and if you look down at your chest, or if you're looking at a mirror and you're looking at the warrior across your chest, then you realize, you know what, I am a warrior. I can do this. I am strong. And I'm going to go put this thing on and rock it out.
Wow. Come on. Come on with the GOO DJ OB. Good job.
Good job. Good job.
She said I was able to look down at my chest and see that, guess what? I'm a warrior. And that's why I rock this. That's why I rock this. To be honest, I'm going to tell you, she could have had a shirt that said Bumblebee and I would have purchased it. Do you understand?
You are a mess.
And she could have been like, look, you wear this to sting and whatever. Look, whatever she puts out there in the universe, I'm going to support her, because guess what?
Sweet.
That's the authentic love that we share, Yes. And I understand that first and foremost, you are a servant leader. First and foremost, you're a servant leader. I know that you have to have a strong support system, and everything that you've gone through. Shout out to Mama, your beautiful mother.
Yes.
Shout out to her, and shout out to all of Richmond County, y'all. Shout out to y'all. We got another HBCU down there too, Payne College. Shout out to you, Payne College.
Yes.
What's up? Yeah. So talk to me and talk to our viewers tonight about surrounding yourself with non-toxic people, because how important is it to have a support system that's not toxic? Because here you are going through things, and then your support system is toxic too. Talk about the importance of staying away from negative people.
Well, I also think too, you have to be very careful. I think sometimes some people don't realize that they have a high level of toxicity. And I always gauge it by the way I feel when I'm around somebody or when they leave. Am I glad that they're gone? Do I hate the energy when I'm around them? If every time I'm saying something and they have a counter comment to it that's negative, and the comments and the energy is always in a negative light. And let me be very clear. Sometimes that means friends. Sometimes that means family members. Sometimes that means coworkers. Sometimes that means neighbors. So because I think we live in a world that already has a very high level of toxicity, negativity, you have to be your best champion, warrior for your space, your sphere. And sometimes that means you either cut those people off or you decide how you want to manage them. And I have, some, people that, you can't get away from because let's just say maybe they are your family, but maybe you've decided if I'm going to have a conversation with this family member, I'm going to limit it to 10 minutes or 5 minutes. And the first moment you hear something that feels like it's negativity, then you have to go. You have something to do because I think all of us we have to save ourselves. We have to be our best champions because I just feel like the world is giving me enough of that and I can't control it, but I can control who's around me and who I allow in my circle. And sometimes that circle doesn't really look like a full circle. It could be a half moon. It could be one or two people, because at this point, I think I am not interested in the number of people I have around me. I'm interested in the quality of people I have around me. And the older I get, the more I realize if I've got 5, I've got 5 million, and that's enough for me.
I love that. That's amazing because I just put on social media today. You don't need a certain number of friends.
No.
Just a number of friends you can be certain of, you see.
Yeah.
And I love
real
that.
Talk.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, you already know it's real talk. You already know
that's real.
It's real talk. Listen, blood is, like we say, blood is thicker than water, but sometimes blood clots, but water flows. Water flows.
Yes.
So I'm thankful for you being the water in my life. I'm thankful for you being some water in my life. Listen, there are a lot of people out there who they believe that they can just go viral on social media. They believe that they can just put out a video today and they can blow up tomorrow. But I know the struggles you've gone through in this industry. Because we got a lot of scholars at HBCUs. They're looking in tonight. Shout out to Megan Thee Stallion, graduating from Texas Southern University.
Yes, congratulations to her.
Yes, shout out. Shout out to Josh Smith for J.R. Smith, J.R. Smith, NBA player, got a 4.0 at North Carolina A&T this semester.
Oh.
Chris Paul is at Winston-Salem State University. And listen, this young man, and this is out there too, I got to bring this up. This young man he had committed to Florida State University, and he decommitted. And he's going to Jackson State University, and he is the #1 recruit in the nation, and Twitter is blowing up. He's getting a lot of hateful comments. And, one of the things I want to say, JaQuitta, is we have to teach our Black and brown youth, our scholars, our scholar athletes, that guess what? When you are playing these various sports to the greater population, and when I say greater, I'm only talking about in terms of numbers, okay? To the greater population, a lot of times you're not a human being, you're just a commodity. So
you're a product.
You're come on. That's what, did you hear what she said at Savannah State? Because you can get anywhere from here. She said you're a product. I said a commodity. She said it's a product. Talk to those individuals out there about what it takes to make it in the industry. What does it take? Because all they see are lights, camera, action. They see you. They see your glory, JaQuitta, but they don't know your story. They want your progress, but they don't know the process. Talk to them about what it really takes to make it in this industry and any industry.
I think it's really interesting when people actually see the success of somebody and not really take into account, like you just said, having the totality of what they've gone through. And whenever I'm speaking to anybody, I'm always like, well, would you want my life if you knew that I grew up in a single parent home and it was just my mom and me? Would you want my life if you knew that by the time I graduated and went to college, the only way that I got there was because I had to find all of these scholarships. We didn't have any money. We didn't have anything. So by hook or crook, I got to Savannah State, kept my grades up. And when I graduated, I knew I had to hit the ground running. When I started in a small little market. I didn't have much. As a matter of fact, in order to just wear clothing that looked television ready, I went to a consignment shop. That meant clothes that had been worn by somebody else that I had to put on my body in order to just do the job. Would you want to know that I've moved 5 times in my career, not knowing anybody in the cities that I lived and had to start all over, not only learning the city, but learning the politics of the job in which I worked. And also, a lot of the times, if I was in a newsroom, maybe there might have been another Black woman, but the way the energy is kind of put out there, and again, I'm just talking about when I started, it was always kind of an unspoken rule that the powers that be would try to pit the Black women against each other because there could only be one. Whereas I always think of it like the sky. And when planes take off, if you've ever looked up in the sky, planes can be heading in the same direction. One plane is ahead of the other one, but it's all of this sky, and it's enough room for all of the planes to be going every which way. And one plane doesn't affect the other one. It's enough room for all of us to be great. I learned that early on in my career. So it was very important for me when I did see other Black women, even if she wasn't trying to be friendly to me, I wanted to let her know there was no need for us to have competition, because there is nobody like me who does it like I do it. And there's nobody like you who does it the way you do it. So that was part of it. Would you also want to know that by the time I got here to Atlanta, I had 2 contract offers from 2 other television stations, but I was a freelancer at WSB, which means they call you whenever they need you. And I decided, after I talked to my one of my mentors, his name is Byron Pitts, he said, hey, if I had a freelance opportunity at WSB and a contract opportunity at the other station, I would go to WSB. So I did, just by chance, because it was my dream job. But people didn't know that I left the job that I was working in the Midwest because I was depressed. I was so far from home, and I wasn't used to the Midwest, and I wasn't used to the fact that when the winter time rolls around here in Georgia or in the South, we still have the sunshine, we still have trees. In the Midwest, everything dies. So I didn't know why, like the first year I was there, I couldn't get out of bed. And I realized I'm not used to the sun. I didn't have any family. I didn't have any friends. I just worked. So I decided I'm going to leave this job. I called James Brown, the late great, who I was really good friends with at the time, as well as one of his daughters, Deanna Brown Thomas. And I said, look, Mr. Brown, I'm coming back to Georgia. If you have a spot for me, I'd love to be a background vocalist in Bittersweet. And Mr. Brown was like, oh, okay, girl, you come on down here. He was getting ready to go on tour. He was like, come on. And I was like, okay. so I thought I was going to be a background vocalist with his band Bittersweet. But at the time, WSB said, oh, okay, we'll have you as a freelance. I thought I could do both, not realizing that WSB called me every single solitary day. 7 months later, they ended up offering me a contract, so I didn't do the background vocalist, and I began my career here. And would have never guessed that when I was at the pinnacle of like just shining and doing the thing I love the most, yeah, God was like, yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and give you that cancer real quick because I need your attention. You were so focused on career and everything else, you are really not talking to me like I want you to. And one thing I want to tell people, you don't ever want God to sit you down. You need to sit down before he sits you down. So, but I also realized he trusted me with assignments. I had this cancer diagnosis, and that is what took me to get to where I am now. So when I say all of those things, and particularly when you're on television, I never really thought about it when I was in college. I just wanted to be a storyteller. But I didn't think that being on television as a Black woman particularly is, oh, I don't like your hair like that. Now you, Keith, you could be on television and they would think you're fine. But if I'm too big, they don't like my hair, they don't like my clothes selection, they don't care about what I'm saying, but it's how you look. And having to get past that and realize that yes, it is important the way that I look, but it is important for you to pay attention to the words that are coming out of my mouth, as well as being a viable representation of people who look like me at home, who want to hear the story from somebody who looks like me, who's going to tell it in a way that they understand and that they relate to, and more importantly, knowing that they've got somebody in the street who's being a champion for them. That's why I did what I did. And that's why I still feel like I'm a journalist now. I do realize journalism has changed a lot. And the way people have that they watch news, social media being a platform, and people watching something on social media and taking that as the gospel, when as a journalist I fact check and I double check, but on this platform sometimes people can just say whatever and people take it as the truth. So, and people also, I would be on the street sometimes, young girls or men would come up to me and be like, oh, I want to do what you do, y'all hiring? Just to think like, oh, you cute, you standing out here, you saying that something, I can do that too. Not knowing that for a job to appear easy and that you can do it means the person who is doing it is spectacular, is at the top tier of what they do. We make it look easy, but it is not. So it's a lot of that. But I'm proud. I'm proud to have done what I did. I'm proud to continue to do what I do, and I'm proud to do it in the skin that I am in and the way that I look, even with the hair being natural, because that was a thing for me at one time too. This is who I am. There was nothing wrong with this, just like there's nothing wrong with the weaves, the wigs, however you want to rock, the braids, whatever you want to rock, as long as you are professional in the way that you present yourself. Because Black people, we come in an array of styles and hues, and we should be proud of being able to step forward and operate in who we are.
Wow.
I know that was a long answer. Sorry.
No. Listen, no, this is what it's about, though. That's why I brought this Black woman excellence on here. You understand? And Jay Martin just said warriors are on top. Jay Martin, thank you so very much. And listen, brother, I need you. JaQuitta is going to give all of her information before we're done tonight, and I need you to keep the warriors on top and go buy some apparel. Do you understand? I want you to invest in this sister's brand. I love what you said. When people come up to you and they say, I want to do what you do, y'all hiring? Because when I'm coaching and training speakers across the world, right? When they ask me, or they say, Mr. Brown or Mr. Impossible or Coach, man, I want to do what you do, Uncle Keith. Man, I can get on that stage. I know I can. I give them the horror stories first. I always give them the horror stories, right?
Yeah.
I always do that. I always give them those horror stories to see, are you really willing to put in that time, those blood, sweat, and tears? Are you really going to an industry where many times you have to elevate your vocabulary? Do you know? Come on now. As a Black man, see, listen, I'm going to just be real. My white and Asian counterparts, they can just flow regularly, okay? But as a Black man in my industry, I always have to elevate my vocabulary just to stay relevant, relevant. So they have no idea. I love how you said all of the moves that you did growing up in a single parent household, not a fatherless home, but a mother more home. Can I say that again? Not fatherless, but mother more. But let's go and hone in on what JaQuitta just said, y'all. Your hair, your look, your this, your that. You can turn on any, and I'm a lover of sports, and and I love everybody. I'll preface that by saying I love everybody, but it just amazes me how your Pam Olivers out there, and how they have to fight, Jamel and others, Jamel Hill and how they have to fight. And you just see these white female sideline reporters, they just popping up everywhere. They popping like popcorn, pop, 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 pop. They're popping like popcorn. And I know for a fact that they do not go through the struggles that Black women have to go through in the industry. So listen, if you all don't understand, JaQuitta has given you some real deep information tonight. Just what she has to go through in addition to reporting, in addition to being a journalist, in addition to being excellent at the top of her game and her craft. The first thing they're concerned about is her appearance. So let me say this to Black women out there. Let me give you the 3 B's in this order. You better be brilliant, bold, and beautiful. In that order. I'm telling you, brilliant, bold, and beautiful, because JaQuitta is that brilliant, bold, and beautiful. And watch this. JaQuitta was so intelligent in what she did and operated in a spirit of excellence That's how she didn't survive in this industry for all these years. She's been able to thrive. It's work ethic, y'all. It's work ethic. Don't think you just gonna get up there and get on television and people just gonna love you. It don't work like that.
No, it does not work like that, baby. You got to do the grinding. You got to do the work. And more than me looking pretty or whatever, what they knew for sure, no matter where I worked, if you sent me out to cover the story, you always knew I was going to get it. Either I was going to get an exclusive, or I was going to bring back something that my competition did not have. And I was going to report it in a way that was just, relegated to me. And also, I think it's really interesting when people think that they can do what you do, particularly, let's just say if you don't have the teleprompter, or you don't have the story behind you, or if you've got somebody behind you waving and carrying on, what do you do in that instance? How do you still act like that's not affecting you and still tell the story and act like none of that stuff is going on? People don't really think of that when they think of journalism or journalists, and the ability to have your subject verb agree, okay, and being able to do it in a minute and say 15 seconds. So those are some of the things that I think that are important. And as it relates to the way my hair is, I am so grateful that we live in a time now that we are seeing more women, Black women, who are able to rock whatever they want to rock. And although I'm sure that there are some people who get pushback from it, because trust and believe, I got pushback from it when I decided, when I went to the CBS affiliate, that I was no longer going to relax my hair. This was going to be just fine. And if they didn't like it, then I didn't have to do it. And they were like, no, we want you. I got pushback, but at the same time, I think that I got more people who appreciated and respected the way that I decided to move in my life. And I'm just glad to see we live in a time that that's not as big of a factor as it was in the past. So
I love that
we're making small steps, not giant leaps, but small steps, and we'll take that.
Well, listen, sis, I appreciate you, beloved, because there's nobody who told our stories like us, like you did, and
yeah.
Our stories matter.
Yes,
our voices matter.
They do,
and
they do.
It not only, listen, I often say, don't support me just because I'm a Black business. Support me because I'm a just Black business. So yes. I didn't just support you because you were a Black television anchor or television journalist. You were just, right. You operated in excellence. And that's what we have to understand as Black people. This is not the exception when you see a JaQuitta WIlliams. At one time, this was the rule. Black excellence should never be the exception. Black excellence should always be the rule. How did a Savannah State, or because you could have gone to other colleges and universities, how, you could have gone to UGA, shout out UGA, Georgia Southern. You could have gone
Clark,
to
Atlanta,
anywhere, right?
Yeah.
Anywhere. How did Savannah State University in particular, and in HBCU, right, how did that prepare you for your industry or for life in general?
Well, here's the thing. I always knew that I wanted to go to a historically Black college, but when I stepped on the grounds of Savannah State, you go somewhere and it just automatically feels like home. It feels like where you're supposed to be. Even though I visited other places and I liked them, it wasn't until I went to Savannah State and I was like, this is it. Because it was large enough to be large, but small enough to feel like I still was wrapped up in safety with the professors, the president, and my dorm mates, my sorors, and everybody around me. It felt safe. And I will also admit that, from my, middle school, high school, I went to a predominantly white schools. And I knew that I wanted that just Black us experience, from step shows to the way that we were on the yard, to the way we were in the dorm, to the way we as Black people can kind of look at one another and don't have to say anything, but we know what we're talking about. I wanted that experience. And when I tell you, all of it prepared me for where I was going, particularly even as it relates to me being a journalist. There were numerous times that I went into an environment where it may have been hood, but when I popped into it, Black people, we can kind of intertwine and intermeet. We can be educated when we need to be, and we can step up and be like, "Where they them at?" Because I need to holler at them and talk to them about what happened over here on the corner.
Yeah.
And they know exactly what I mean. They can come over, they will talk, and then I'll flip it back to what I need to flip it back to when I go to the masses. So there was no environment that I could see myself entering into that I felt uncomfortable in. Savannah State taught me that. And I will say this, I loved being on campus. It just reminded me of Wakanda forever, because it was like everywhere I looked, there was somebody who looked like me. Professors, friends, football, like all of it. It felt good. I loved it. And I would not change anything about those 4 years that I spent at Savannah State, because they really did. They prepared me for what the real world is like, but in a different kind of sphere. So I really appreciated it. I loved it. I had the best, if I could do that little period of time in my life over, I definitely would. Being a cheerleader, being pledging, AKA, and just all of it. I have such beautiful memories that I will never forget, and I do not regret. And HBCUs is where it's at for me.
Oh, yes, sir. That's what, and you know what? It's a little bit of flavor at those HBCUs, because I'm going to tell you right now, you go to an HBCU, you look like this. I'm in my 50s. I look like this. You go to an HBCU, it's something when you are still refined.
Yes.
Refined, and there's something about just that excellence in those professors. I remember one of our professors, Dr. Stevenson, right? And I remember, listen, I remember the class started at 10 o'clock, and I remember it was like 10:02, and he slammed the door in my face.
Yep.
And he opened the door and said, "You better be here when this class ends." And I actually sat on the floor and I was actually taking notes. I did not get up and leave. That's what Savannah State did for me. You talking about, there were professors that will come into the dorms and wake you up and make you come to class. Now, they're not doing that at PWI.
No. And then even just, you know what, Keith, even when we had, I almost called you preacher.
Go ahead and preach it. Hey, they don't know Uncle Keith's Corner. That was my nickname in college. It was preacher, baby. The preacher dog. SBA preacher, all that. Preacher. Go ahead.
And the thing is, the very thing that you're doing now, you did then.
Yes.
You were a motivator. You believed in inspiring us, for us. You were that, and it doesn't surprise me that you're continuing that. But what I was going to say, I loved how we would have impromptu step shows. I remember we had a step show in the parking lot by the Payne building. They don't do that anymore. But I remember we had a step show there, and there are pictures where they're just students around in a circle, and we're in the middle, and we're just stepping. We really were what a different world showed us on television. We were that at Savannah State, or if you were across the yard and you were stepping, and we would come over or hopping, we would come over to where the Qs were doing their thing, and we would do our thing, or when the AKAs had a line that crossed and the Deltas, like we just, even though we had our different thing, we were still such a unit that I loved. I just loved that. I loved the yard, being on the yard, and the kind of energy that kind of environment gave. And it was almost like you put it in a bottle and you can't really recreate it. You just kind of have to be there.
Oh, yes. And listen, to all of our listeners and our viewers out there, especially our scholars, shout out to those scholars at Savannah State University who are tuning in.
Yes.
Alcorn State, I know you're tuning in. Lane College, Kentucky, all of y'all who are tuning in, listen, not only were we all of that, we were activists at Savannah State.
Yeah, we were.
When I was the SGA president, listen, we actually kicked Coca-Cola off the campus. Now, listen, no shade to Coca-Cola now, but I'm just saying back then, they were still doing business in South Africa, and apartheid was still going on, and Nelson Mandela was the late great Nelson Mandela was in prison, and guess what? We kicked Coke off our campus. We brought Pepsi on the campus. We had sit-ins. We had sit-ins where we actually had campus administrators removed from their positions who we did not feel were serving our best interests. I'm not telling y'all to do that. I'm just telling y'all got to be advocates.
Use your voice. That's right. That's right.
To advocate for social justice out there, educational justice. So listen, we partied. We had the step shows. We had the midnight breakfast. We did it all. We had we did it all, but we were activists and we went to class. And guess what? JaQuitta will tell you we had class. Not only go to class, we had class. We had to have Savannah State University. So listen, y'all can be lit, y'all can be turned up, all of that, but y'all can still have class. Y'all can still have class. JaQuitta, you know, I get a lot of DMs from a lot of these college scholars, and they're like, Keith, look, listen, a lot of them, and you see this in the industry. Let me just say it like this. A lot of people are publicly balling, but privately falling. They are publicly balling, but privately falling. How important is it for us to address our mental health? How important?
Oh my God. Let me tell you something. You know, a lot of people know that just recently I lost my dear friend and former colleague, JaQuitta Moore. And I knew that that was something I was struggling with. I am still in the throes of struggling with that acceptance. But I also realized, like, for the most part, as a journalist, I've seen a little bit of everything. And that's another thing I think people don't realize too when you're a journalist, or at least when I was coming up in it. You know, a lot of times I would arrive on the scene where somebody just took their last breath, and I'm looking at them take their last breath. I have been in police departments when they had autopsy pictures on the table, that I know what it looks like. I know by scent what death smells like. I can go outside, and if I'm walking my dogs, I know if something is dead. It's a scent that you will not forget. If there's somebody who's died in water, if you're upwind, downwind, how you need to be, all of these things, I remember them. And it wasn't until JaQuitta passed that I had to admit, I am struggling with this. I am not able to shake it off or to divert. So I knew in that moment that I was going to have to get some help, because I wasn't doing well, and I'm still getting help. And it may be something, to be honest with you, mental health and talking to somebody, I think for all of us, but primarily I will say for Black people, because I know that that's all I know. We are a people whose lineage has been about trauma. And there's no way you can have decades upon decades and family history upon family history and not deal with some of the struggles that we face. You have to talk about it. You have to get it out, and you have to have and find tools in order to operate through life. So as I say with when you mention social media, don't get me wrong, social media is a nice platform to be able to disseminate information. But I do think it has done us it's a terrible disservice, because if you stay on there too long and you see somebody, let's just say if they're your friend, you came up in the same time and they appear to be doing much better than you are, and you are still kind of where you were back then, it has a way of affecting you mentally and making you think that, oh, they're doing it, I'm not doing it, I should be there too. When you don't see all of the struggles that person had to endure, or the way they got to where they are, or the fact that the picture that you're looking at is fake. Like that's not the narrative that they are actually living, just because they're presenting it in a photo or they're presenting it in a video. So I caution people to be mindful that sometimes what you're seeing is not the truth, and don't base your life on somebody else's, what could be a fallacy. All you can do is ride in the lane that you're in. And the one thing I learned about people and about life, Just because somebody is successful over here and reached a plateau before me does not mean I'm not going to get there. It just means that's their journey. That's the road they took. God had something completely else in mind for me. So let me just do what it is I'm doing. Let me focus on what I'm doing. And if you really do that, you don't have time to be looking left, right on social media, swiping through pictures or scrolling up. If you are really about your business, then you really shouldn't be spending a whole lot of time on social media unless social media or YouTube is where you make your money. But if not, your grind needs to be about what the grind is. And let me just say that that last thing too. I need people to stop thinking that success is as quick as you say you want to do something. Your first job is the job that you do and you make all these millions of dollars. That's not the way life operates. I'm not saying that there aren't people who may have reached that, but I'm saying they may not stay there because there are so many steps that it takes in order to reach the place that you're trying to reach. And you need to have that time when you failed. Like if I showed you some of the resume tapes that I made back when I first started, and when you see me at WSB, you wouldn't even know how I got to WSB. But that was because I did a lot of work. I studied, I honed in, I had a lot of failures, I had some successes, and from each one of those things, I got better. So don't let social media be the barometer in which you gauge how well you're doing something, because a lot of people who are showing you stuff, it's just not the truth. That fake it till you make it, it's a lot of just faking it, and ain't nobody making it. It's just faking it.
Oh, come on now. Come on now. That's what I'm talking about. Y'all, we got about 6-7 minutes, man. But let me tell y'all what's deep. When JaQuitta talked about the pictures and the videos, when it comes to the pictures on social media, I need y'all to remember this. People pose for pictures.
Yeah, they do.
Yeah, I need y'all to get it. People, see, there's you can pose, you can do it 1,000 times until it's your look, the perfect picture or the perfect video. So listen to what she said for all you HBCU scholars out there. Listen, and PWI scholars as well, because you know, Historically Black Sense, the premier platform for everything HBCU, will come to your PWI as well, because that's what we do. Uncle Keith's Corner is coming to your campus next semester. Follow Historically Black Sense right now on all social media platforms. We're so honored to have this nationally known television journalist, media maven. Look, actress, coach.
Oh yeah, I did that too. I forgot about that.
Right. Actress, coach, trainer. And let me tell y'all this. For those of you who are looking to go in this industry, she coaches and trains individuals as well. Let me say this, because people come to ask me this. They say this all the time. Mr. Impossible, Keith, Uncle Keith, listen, I need you to mentor me. Let me say this. I mentor children, youth, and young adults, but I coach adults. Okay? I coach and train adults. I do not mentor adults. I coach. There's an investment. So I just want to say this up front, that JaQuitta coaches and trains adults. So if you want to communicate effectively, more effectively, if you have a desire to build your brand, listen, my sister is there for you, but she is not going to mentor you. She is going to coach and train you, and you have to be willing to invest in yourself. Look, the alumni calling right. Look, what's up, Savannah State University National Alumni Association? Y'all trying to get on too? They calling me on the computer. They're calling me because this is hot. She's blowing up. But listen to what she said. She said, I grinded. I was on my grind. She said, I studied. I researched. I honed my gifts and my talents. Listen, y'all, you want the worth, you got to do the work. You know, one of the things, and I'm gonna say this because y'all know Uncle Keith loves y'all millennials, right? I love y'all because y'all have great ideas. I need y'all to amp it up on your work ethic for real, y'all. Because I got some on my team, and I do want you to touch on that. And I'm not singling out Generation Z and millennials. I'm just saying, with your great ideas and your innovative ideas, you got to have some work ethic. That's number one. And number two, my name is not Keith. I need y'all to understand. JaQuitta can call me Keith. JaQuitta can call me preacher, but when you are, listen, black people, when you are going to a business meeting, you might be 21, 23, 25. Listen, don't you walk in that business meeting talk about what's up, JaQuitta? What's up, Keith? Oh, no, that's Miss Williams or Miss JaQuitta. This is, Uncle Keith or Mr. Brown or Mr. Keith. You got to have some business acumen. Before we leave,
Yes.
I need you to touch on that. I need you to focus on some business etiquette because once again, we got that social media thing going on with you calling people by their first name and all that. Look, we knew back in the day we didn't do that. We got
First of all, I'm not calling you by your first name.
Yes.
I am calling you, Mr. or Miss, Williams or Smith. That's one. And then all this, auntie, like you don't know me well enough to call me your auntie. I'm not your auntie. I am Mrs. So-and-so or Mr. The other thing is, if there's a job that you want, then it behooves you to do research on said job. Uh-oh. Are you there?
You're still here. You're still here. Yeah, we can still hear you.
Uh-oh.
No, you still here. You're still here.
Oh, I don't know what happened.
I can hear you.
I don't know what happened.
Keep talking. I can hear you. We can still hear you. Listen, we can still hear you.
Can you see me?
She asked, are you still here?
Oh.
No, you're still here. You're good. You're good.
The timer's still going.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm still here. Oh, good. I got the text.
Yeah.
Okay, sorry about that. What I will say is do your research on the business. So if you want to work for, a television station, find out about the television station. Find out what the job listing is, and then work through things that you are good at so that when you talk to a manager or a news director, they are fully well aware that you have studied and or you've done some research on that business because you're showing how much it is important for you to be there as an employee of said business. Also, I don't know what it is or what's changed, but I think it's really important for young people to be responsible about the way you present yourself. You cannot come to a job interview looking like you are going to the club or you are going to the park. Maybe you don't want to put on a suit if you're a young woman, but putting on a nice dress for a young man, a nice suit, a tie, or a nice shirt, pressed shirt with a tie, make sure you're clean. Do the things, make sure you smile, make sure that you show the people that you have interest. And even in the way that you sit up and you have eye contact with the person who is asking you questions. And when they ask you, do you have a question? Have some viable questions of the company so that they know, oh, she's been or he's been doing their research so that you stand apart from other people. And I know this is something that a lot of people don't do anymore, but I'm kind of old school. I still do it if I'm searching for a job. After the job interview is over, I'm the kind of person, I know a lot of people do email. So maybe the follow-up could be that you send them an email saying, Mr. So-and-so, thank you so much for taking the time. I really enjoyed that makes you stand out from the other person. And you may not get the job, but at least they will remember you. And perhaps if there's something else that comes up, you would be the person that they will think back to because you did something different from everybody else. So those are just some of the things when I think about job interviews or working in a career. And then one more thing. I know that it is important to get paid on a job. I really, really do. I don't know anybody who doesn't work to make money. But there are opportunities where volunteering or you doing something where you don't get paid, but what you're paid back in experience or access, you would never be able to get that on the job. So those are some of the things that I would mention that would be, I think, helpful for people who are watching in regards to getting a job. And I'm sorry about that. I don't know why you're gone, but of course, this is another, example of the way television is. You got to just keep going. Got to keep going.
Yes. I'm loving it. And you don't even have to worry about that. You don't have to apologize because we have advocating Adrena Martin, who's keeping us right, and she is keeping us tight. And she is the visionary behind Historically Black Sense with everything HBCU. That's definitely positive. Did y'all hear from the professor tonight? Did y'all hear what the professor was just telling y'all? JaQuitta was just giving y'all some depth on tonight about when you go into these career interviews. And listen, one of the things I want to say before we go, when they ask you about yourself, when they say, Keith L. Brown, tell us a little bit about yourself. Don't start with yourself. Tell them a little bit about their company. Tell them a little bit about their agency, their foundation, their school system, their organization. Know the vision and mission statements. Know the vision and mission statements. And once again, that will help you stand out. That will help you stand out. Listen, y'all, what a great show we've had tonight with JaQuitta WIlliams, media maven, nationally known television journalist. And just so excited to have her. Shout out once again to the Savannah State University. And is JaQuitta still with us? Because I need JaQuitta to just, I need you all. Let me see. I need her back. I'm telling y'all right now, I got to bring her back because we got to bring her back for that social media. There she is. JaQuitta. There she is. Listen, I was just telling them, I said, look, the professor, y'all, they were in class tonight. Y'all were in class tonight, all right? I just told them, I said, you go to that career interview and they ask you to tell a little bit about yourself. Don't tell a little bit about yourself. Tell them about their company, their organization, their foundation. Give them their mission, vision statements. See, that's and you learn that in an HBCU. You learn that straight at an HBCU. And guess what? HBCUs are still relevant. HBCUs matter. And we take everybody. I got white scholars that I train, that I mentor at HBCUs right now. I got Native Americans, Asians, but we just need y'all to understand we are unapologetically Black, and we're unapologetically Black here at Historically Black Sense, y'all. JaQuitta, before we go tonight, listen, I don't want to go, but we got to go. Give us all social media platforms, because guess what? If y'all want to be inspired, and I'm going to tell you this now, she keeps it real. She keeps it 100.
I do.
We keep it 100. I do. So give us all of your social media and y'all follow her. And before she does that, get your warrior t-shirt, y'all. I got mine. Invest.
Yes, you did. Yes, you did. Rocking it.
Yeah, no matter what battle you're going through, you got to be a warrior. You got to be a warrior. So listen, when she gives you her social media, y'all need to shoot her a DM and get these shirts so y'all can go into 2022 as a warrior. Go ahead, sis. Go ahead and give them that social media.
My social media, my Instagram is JaQuitta W, which is my name, JaQuitta and all of the Facebook. I'm not on TikTok, but on Facebook I'm just JaQuitta WIlliams, my name, and I'm easy to find. The warrior shirts are their passion project for me, and the shirts are $20. I send them. The Warriors brand is all over the world. I ship them right to you, and it's something that makes me feel good to know that other people who are struggling and who have challenges can be reminded that they can get through this because they will.
Yes, y'all see her name. In case you don't know how to spell JaQuitta, it's right there on the screen for you. Okay, right there on the screen, y'all. Phonics, baby, get hooked on phonics. And listen, you cannot say JaQuitta without saying quit. And what she's saying tonight is quitting. That's what she wants y'all to know. Quitting. And listen, like she said, many people say fake it till you make it, but we say don't quit it until you get it. Don't quit it, right? Right. Don't quit it.
Don't quit
until you get it. Look, and y'all look, Keith L. Brown _ Keith L. Brown _ on Instagram, Keith L. Brown _ on TikTok, Keith L. Brown 1911 on Facebook. But guess what? We got to go out a little bit like this before we go out. We got to go back to Savannah State University, homecoming and old school. We got to go out like this, y'all.
Hey.
Y'all know. Yeah. Look that picture up. Go ahead. Let me see it. Let me see it. Oh. Oh, yes. Oh, yes. Hey. Oh, hey.
AKA. AKA. Hey.
Yes. Yes, that's what we do. That's how we do it. Yes, that's how we did it. There it is. It is a serious matter. You see them pinkies up. She's still doing it. She's still doing it. I put it back on. She's still doing it, y'all. Yeah, so listen. Uncle Keith's Corner. Thank you, JaQuitta, so much. We love you. Tune in every Wednesday. Every Wednesday, Uncle Keith's Corner on Historically Black Sense, the premier platform for everything positive HBCU culture, HBCU excellence, Greek letter organizations, just the whole 9 yards right here at Historically Black Sense. Go ahead and follow all Historically Black Sense platforms right now, whether it be Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Twitter, YouTube. Go ahead, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Another great show, and we're going to be back next Wednesday, y'all. It's the holiday season. We're going to be back next Wednesday with an exciting, relevant guest. Continue to tune in. I am Uncle Keith, Keith L. Brown, Mr. Impossible. I am Uncle Keith, and guess what? JaQuitta, listen, y'all, she's on another show already, y'all. She's on another show. JaQuitta, say goodbye to the people because I got you on speaker. Yeah, I know y'all heard that. Look, I'm going to show y'all. Look, there it is. JaQuitta, what y'all see it right there? That's it. That's right. But her phone number did not show up. So sorry, we don't roll like that. But listen, JaQuitta, I love you so much, sis. Thank you for coming to Uncle Keith's Corner. Definitely want you back. You continue to be empowered, not devoured. And yes, we love you. We love you. We love you.
Thank you.
Love you. All right. Good night. Peace. Yes, y'all. So listen, Uncle Keith's Corner is going to head on out, y'all. I'm going to vibe some more with Frankie Beverly. Listen, I want to thank my executive producer, advocating Adrena Martin behind the scenes, who makes it happen. She is the visionary behind the Historically Black Sense platform, alumni of the Tuskegee University, proud member of the Zeta Phi Beta Sorority Incorporated. So listen, y'all, continue to have a wonderful holiday season. We'll be back next Wednesday, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, and we going out like this. Yeah! Come on, y'all. Put them up, put them up. Hey! HBCU, HBCU. Historically black, historically black, historically black, historically black. Uncle Keith's Corner, Uncle Keith's Corner, Uncle Keith's Corner, Uncle Keith's Corner. Historically Black Sense. Watch this.
You make me happy.
Yes. Frankie Beverly and Mays, y'all. Historically Black Sense is the platform. It's Uncle Keith's Corner. And y'all see that right there, right? Y'all see the picture behind me? Let's lift as we climb. All hands on deck. Lifting as we climb, y'all. Thank you, JaQuitta Williams. JaQuitta Williams, great guest tonight. Thank y'all so much. We love you. Y'all have a great night. Continue to be empowered, not devoured. Uncle Keith's Corner, Historically Black Sense. We out.
Before I let go.